I'm Deconverted Man. For years I've been searching through all the books in all of the universe for the answers to life's mysteries, the true nature of reality, unfolded before my eyes one day. Did I find it in informal logic by scanning through all these words and translating them upside down and backwards? No, that would be silly. Did I find them in my refrigerator somewhere? Perhaps in the freezer where this toy exists? No. Was it perhaps behind this drawing? No, it was not anything to do with the freezer. I figured that out. Okay, it was in one of these books. No, was it that one? Understanding Ethics? No, it's that one. No, it's Japanese. It was all... No, wait. No, that's not it. This is serious physical. That could be it. Blake's Poetry? No. Avatar. No, wait. Maybe the lobsters will tell me. One of these toys will have the answer. Is a lobster? You know the answer? Do you? No. It was in here. Kitty's Outdoor Day. That's where the answer would be. Yes. That's where it was. I knew it now. The mysteries, the skepticism, the atheism, explained all in this video.
Of atheism as a proposition, or why skepticism and agnosticism are not actually atheism.
Plus one bonus point. You're correct. Those words are different than the word atheist. Good job. Nobody makes the claim that those words are atheism. So, not sure why you're doing this video, but yeah, you're correct. And what's your argument?
When speaking to modern atheists, in today's environment on the internet, the debate apologetic scene, you'll see so many atheists say, well, you can't disprove atheism because it's merely a proposition.
I know, it's almost like they're telling you what atheism is, rather than what it isn't. Although I'm not really sure that anyone has told you that particular thing, or if that's just the straw man construct that you want to attack in this video. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, even though I shouldn't, and we'll see where this goes.
That they lack a belief in God. But I would have an immediate problem with this, because that's not historically what atheism was.
Alert! Alert! Appeal to historicity incoming! Alert! Alert! Whatever it was in the past doesn't matter. Natural language progresses and changes throughout time. What the word means today is all that matters. How scholars use it, how the experts use it, how philosophers use it, none of that matters. If dealing with people today, then you're gonna have to deal with how people today, broadly speaking, use that word or understand that word. If it's the case that atheists are telling you this is what the word means, maybe, here's an idea, you should just accept that that's what they think the word means. Maybe you disagree, maybe you don't like that, but understand, okay, that's what you think the word means. Now, can I deal with it at that level? And does their explanation of what the word is to them come close to or even match what all the dictionaries have to say on the matter? And if they do, then it's probable, possible, maybe actual, that the broad majority of people have come to understand this word in that particular way, and maybe you should go ahead and use the word as it's been explained to you, rather than complaining about that it's not being used the way that it used to be used in the past.
When you see the rise of atheism in Western Europe, following the Reformation, though not immediately after, and then the Counter-Reformation, and then of course the secular revolutions, mainly beginning in France, you'll see that this appeal to humanism and appeal later to atheism itself was based entirely on the notion that first of all, people could be good without Christianity. Now the issue with that was that the revolutionaries, secular and otherwise, were still basing their idea of an ideal humanism on Christian morality. If you want to learn more about the subject, please watch part 1 of Atheism Deconstructed, titled Universal Morality. As for the actual atheists themselves, such as the great thinkers in Western Europe who had combated against the Christian religion, They made the claim that the God of the Christians, the God of the Bible, did not exist. So for them, atheism was not just a proposition. It wasn't about a man named, say, Alfred in Austria, merely not believing in God because he doesn't see any evidence, so he's not quite sure that a God exists and he's a skeptic. That's not what the original atheists were in West.
Is this the entire video? It's just complaining about the way that the word was used isn't the way that it's used today? Is that it? Is that your entire argumentation? Then that's nothing more than an appeal to historicity. Look, in history, they used to use it this way. Oh, well, I can do you one better. The early Christians were called atheists. So to call oneself an atheist means I'm a Christian. They were called atheists in the past. So Christians are the actual atheists. So we're just mistaken if we use the word atheist, according to history. Actually, the word Christian's wrong too, because that was used as an insult by non-Christians. So that's also incorrect. Do you want to keep appealing to history as your source of how a word should be used? Well, then none of the words that you or I are using actually mean anything at all because they weren't used that way once upon a time. Well done. Your argument sucks.
These were people that confidently said, the God of the Bible does not exist. The God of Christianity does not exist.
It's almost like you understand, but then you go off kilter. The word God, maybe you don't know this, the word God applies to more than just your version of God. You see, other religions exist other than Christianity. So when saying the word God, I don't necessarily know which God you're talking about. So, because that's ambiguous, then the word atheist means I don't believe in God. But God is whatever the bleep God is. Whichever one that happens to be, I don't even know which God you're talking about, and that's part of why I probably don't believe it. But no, your God's the one that you want to talk about. Okay, fine. There's no Yahweh. I'll make that argument. But not everybody is willing or able to make that argument. Nor is the word atheist in and of itself, there is no Yahweh. It means, I don't believe in God. I know you don't like that, but that's what it means. It also means there's no God. It's both. I know. It can be more than one thing. Amazing how words work.
There's no need to use any of the morality because their deity does not exist. And that is what atheism has built its foundations on. That they actually believed and proved, at least in their mind, that God truly did not exist. Not merely, well, in my head, I'm not sure whether God exists.
So, according to you, atheism was made to supplant Christian morality. We don't need God. God's dead. We've replaced God. Don't need that anymore. We can be fine on our own morals without Christianity. Let's get rid of that. There's no God. Alright, guys. We did it. Hooray us. Let's move forward. Although you have absolutely nothing to support any of that, nothing in your citations, no anything at all. Like, cite an atheist philosopher that held that position at the very least. You don't have any support for your assertions about how atheists were in the past, comma. But even if you did have citations that showed that's how atheism started, why atheism started, etc., that would still have absolutely nothing to do with current atheism. Which means your entire video is nothing but a giant straw man.
And the issue with being not sure whether God exists, which is actually called agnosticism. If you're ever dealing with an atheist and they say, well, there's no evidence, so I don't know if a God exists, so I'm going to choose not to believe. Well, already we're in abduction. That's inference to the best explanation. Just because, let's play Shaitan's advocate here. I believe there's plenty of evidence for God's existence. But even if there were zero evidence outside of the Bible and the church tradition, in this hypothetical scenario, an atheist saying there is no evidence, therefore I don't believe in God, therefore God probably doesn't exist, is in itself inference to the best explanation, or abductive reasoning. So what the best explanation is, and inferring to that, is not actually finding proof.
Yes, you cannot prove 100% that lobster is not the original deity, and lobster is the actual deity of the entire universe. Even if there wasn't such a thing as the four lobsterous gospels, and there was no evidence that lobsters existed, you still couldn't prove that lobster God isn't the actual God, because it's unfalsifiable. You see, unfalsifiable things are unfalsifiable, so you can't prove them wrong. There's no proof that it's not true, because that's not how things work, but that means something, because I don't have proof that my thing is true, which isn't what this video is about, but I'm just saying, like, ha, you can't prove it's not true, and somehow that means something.
Because we could all go and watch a murder mystery movie and come up with what the best explanation could be, but then we would still all be shocked, presumably, by the twist ending. So the best explanation is not always the true explanation. Like Dr. Weisenberg said, science is a debate between two arguments to see which one is better.
Hey, he finally mentioned somebody who I don't know, and he didn't give a link to go check out, so I'm not going to do the Google for him, because I don't care who that is. Anyways, I remember this one murder mystery I watched, where they could not find the body, and all the people were like, well, obviously, you know, it's been 2 or 3 days, the guy is still alive, we can't find the body. And the guy's like, no, the neighbors stole the body. Why would the neighbors stole the body? They believe that he's alive. In fact, all the neighbors said that the guy's alive, but we have video of him getting killed. He can't be alive. We saw him shot like 15, 20 times. Like, no, he dead. We saw him die, dude. No. The neighbors stole the body, I'm pretty sure. Well, then where's the body? Let's go search the neighbors. Why would we do that? They're making the claim that he's still alive. And by now, they've hidden the body in a way that we'll never find it. Besides, we buried him a long time ago. He was cremated. That's what's done in these cases every single time. No. We don't cremate people. In this case, a special exception was made. You see, even though every other time we've cremated people. No, in this case, because we're going to count out to the neighbors who are a minority group that we want to please because reasons, even though we're in charge of everything and we're the detectives. And
the problem with that is that even if there weren't any evidence, and even if you thought there probably isn't a God, based on Pascal's wager, it would still be more beneficial to you to believe in the God that makes the most sense and has spread across the world, which your option really is only going to be Christianity or Islam.
Pascal's wager? Try Pascal's baby! Now only $19.95. Link in the description. It's better to believe that Rick Sanchez created this world for our benefit, because by doing so, Rick Sanchez will reward us with a paradise after we're dead. The probability of that, even if it's 1, is worth considering. It's better to believe that there is no God, because the real God is the God of the skeptic, who rewards only those who don't believe in God. So, if the probability of that is even 1, then it's better to not believe in God, because only by not believing in God will you get the reward that you so desire. It's better to believe that this is a real photo of me than to not believe that it's a real photo of me, because I said so. And if you do believe, and you can prove that you believe, then I'll give you a lobster. And if you don't believe, then I won't give you a lobster. Pascal's wager commits the fallacy of an appeal to a bribe. This is not a logical argument. This is an incentive-based idea. Act as if it's true, and you'll be rewarded. Of course, there's other things you have to actually believe in order to believe in Pascal's wager at all, but boil it down, it's nothing more than an appeal to a bribe. Why would God reward me for forcing myself to believe in it based on the notion that maybe I'll get a reward? Why would God want that? Isn't that kind of petty? God's so desperate for my belief in it that it's willing to bribe me to do so? I don't think so. That's not even the Christian understanding of how to become a Christian anyways. Simply believing in God because it might be true wouldn't be enough to be saved. There's more to it than that, even within Christianity. So, Pascal's wager is not even a pathway to salvation in Christianity, making this also false doctrine. Not that I care about that, but I'm just saying.
Spread across the world, which your option really is only going to be Christianity or Islam.
Appealing to popularity is also not a logical way to argue. Simply because it has spread across the world doesn't make it true.
Religions have a philosophical, geographical, archaeological, or logical reason to actually prove their God, but we'll get into other religions in another time.
But see, even if they didn't have archaeological, etc. evidence, that doesn't mean that you have proof that they're not true, right?
Even if you were a, quote, skeptic or atheist, based on Pascal's wager, it's still better to actually believe, try to be a good person according to Christian morality, and if you do die, and hypothetically there is no God, nothing bad will happen to you other than you'll die.
Okay, once again, go see my video, Pascal's Baby. I really strongly recommend that this YouTuber who I'm responding to, go watch that. Let's see if he can refute that video. I don't think he can, unless he doesn't believe in the age of accountability. I think that's the only way out. But if everything in that video is true, then the most moral thing that we could do is kill babies left and right, because they'd be going to heaven like crazy. So, if we're wrong, well, then nothing bad happens. They're just dying. Who cares? As if that's the only thing that matters in life is the end of life. No. What matters is what is true. Not what I hope is true, want to believe in is true, am scared into thinking that's true, appealed to bribe to think that it's true. What matters is the truth. Pascal's wager isn't the truth, nor is it a way to get to the truth. It is a bad argument. Stop using it. Also, using Pascal's wager wouldn't make you a Christian, making this guy nothing but a false prophet. Just believing in God isn't enough. You have to do more than just believe in God. You have to accept Jesus into your heart, or it doesn't count.
However, if, as an atheist, you decide, I don't see a lot of evidence for God, so I'm going to assume he doesn't exist, then when you die, there actually is the Christian God, you will be in for a world of pain.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. I guess I better believe then. Ad bellum is also a logical fallacy, and not a way to argue that I should or shouldn't do something, at least logically speaking. But who cares about logic, right? Oh, also he says more about the wager, but I'm going to skip that.
And again, skepticism is not atheism. The original atheists all just said God doesn't exist. Not, well, I don't see a lot of evidence, so I'm going to assume God doesn't exist, and, hopefully I'm right. No, just God doesn't exist, Christianity's a lie. That is what they were teaching.
Oh, really? That's what they said? I'm sure you have tons of citations to back... Oh, right, he has nothing. He has no citations at all. Right, I guess we just have to believe him then.
They thought everything was garbage. They thought the papacy was garbage, the Reformation were garbage, but eventually led more to the textual criticism. The textual criticism or higher criticism in Germany led many of these people to believe this is a man-made, random religion from the Middle East that we don't need to follow anymore. It is literally false. Not might be false, not I don't really see the evidence, or, the morality of the world's kind of bugging me, so I just don't like the Christian God, so I'm not going to follow that. They didn't believe anything like that. They genuinely thought that is it. The concept of God is over. Nietzsche said, God is dead, we have killed him.
Let me know when he gets to an argument.
So he's not saying God is dead because of some presuppositional philosophy. He's saying God is dead because we have killed that belief. So people don't believe at all anymore. It's not like today where you're surrounded by Christianity and an atheist may go, oh, well, these Christians are all hypocrites. It's another reason people leave, that their surrounding Christians are not good Christians.
Man, if only you could do like some sort of questionnaire of a bunch of people and ask them why they're leaving Christianity. Of course, when doing that, the way that you frame your questions are really important, because one Baptist guy actually did do that, and he got about 1,000 some odd responses that he used because the other ones weren't applicable, and out of that he extrapolated an answer. But then there's another article that kind of says, yeah, the question wasn't posed very well, so it's not really a good survey. And also, like, 1,000 people is, like, not very much of anything. You need more than that to do a decent study of why people are leaving Christianity or left in the first place. But, doing actual work and research would be difficult. It's far easier to just make wild claims. Anyways, links to both of those things that I mentioned in the description below.
People saying, oh, well, some Christians are bad, therefore it's a false religion. Inference is the best explanation, abductive reasoning, and I would say actually a variety of other fallacies, such as throwing the stone fallacy. Oh, well, that's ridiculous, so it can't be true.
It's interesting that you mentioned fallacies, given that you've had several. Appeal to historicity. Look at the way that atheism used to be used. Okay, and so what? Then you presented Pascal's wager, which has two, at least, fallacies in it: appeal to bribery and appeal to fear, and ad ballum, appeal to a threat. So that's at least 3 fallacies that you've had so far, and you haven't really said much of anything other than skepticism isn't atheism, which isn't really a claim that I think anyone's ever made per se, and it would be actually relatively easy to show just by showing the definitions of both. But that would ruin your straw man complaints on what atheism is. You want atheists to prove that your God doesn't exist, which is what you claim they used to do, but now they don't do anymore. Well, it might be that the first atheists were opposed to Christianity as it was the biggest existential threat, or it was the only religion that they knew of, or the only one that mattered. It's like, in the West, you know what's talked a lot about? Christianity. That's why I respond to Christianity more than any other religion. Sometimes I can respond to a Hindu video, but that's a rare find because usually they're not in English. And seldomly I can respond to a video about Islam, but usually they just say Islam's right and don't make any actual attempt at an argument, so there really isn't much to say at all. At least here you have something that I can complain about. Which if you'd done any sort of research, you would have made a better video, but then I wouldn't be making this video. So I guess, in the end, I'm glad that you made a video full of logical fallacies for me to complain about. But on the other hand, I love logic, so I don't want you to make the video. My life is weird. Ah!
Skepticism is not real atheism. Real atheists said God doesn't exist. They said God is dead. The concept is dead. It's over.
I need more power, Mr. Scott. Give me more power. I cannot do it. It's impossible. It would explode the warp drive. You don't know. I have the crystals to maximum vibration already due to the convoluted integrations of the multiplications because there's time within time. You don't understand, Captain. I thought you were an engineer, Mr. Scott. If you are a true engineer, you will give me more power. Excuse me, Captain Kirk, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Mr. Spock, my friend, what can I do you for? What is it that you overheard that will help us in this mission, Spock? According to these readings, Captain Kirk, you've committed the no true Scotsman fallacy. The no true Scotsman, or appeal to purity, is an informal fallacy in which one attempts to protect their generalized statement from a falsifying counterexample by excluding the counterexample improperly. Example, real skepticism is or is not X. Or a real Christian would insert a hot dog into their own buttocks. But I thought that my argument was persuasive. That very well may be true, but an argument cannot be valid unless its form is valid, and unless it does not exhibit one of the logical fallacies, such as ad ballum, appeal to bribery, appeal to historicity, or the no true Scotsman. It's only logical.
I don't know if I believe in this Christian God. I'm going to go be a skeptic. There's better answers out there. Just because someone else can solve morality does not necessitate that there is no God. I mean, in the Epistle to the Romans, Paul says that the law of God is written on the hearts of men. So some morality is still going to come through, even outside of those who practice Christianity. If someone says, well, that's proof that there's no God. No, because Paul just explained why there still is a God.
Explaining morals without God is relatively simple. After all, we know that your version of God isn't the first God. Judaism predates Christianity, and Zoroastrianism predates both your religions. And there's older religions than that, and there's religions all around the world. And different cultures and different peoples at different times thought certain things were good or bad. And they too appealed to either a god or godlike concept to justify their actions. Certain people thought that beheading an innocent would calm or appease the god, and so doing that was a virtuous thing. Every year somebody has to be sacrificed to their god. Oh good, hope I'm that person. Yay! Oddly enough, it's never the leaders that get sacrificed, but that doesn't matter. There is sacrifice in other religions too, like, 10% of whatever you have. That's sacrifice to God. I mean the priests who speak on behalf of God. Sure, they get rich, but that's sacrificing to God, so that's good. God is a substitute for power. Appealing to God, something that cannot be questioned, makes DCT one of the worst ethical systems available to humans. I say that God wants us to kill everyone that wears hats on Sunday. You say that God doesn't want us to kill everyone that wears hats on Sunday. I suppose the two of us have to go to war, and whichever one lives is whoever God loves. How about this? Secular ethics, although it needs some work, we can base our ethics on well-being. And well-being is defined as doing good, which is defined as not dying, for example. So let's do things that promote not dying, whatever that is. Well, spreading that worldwide, helping the environment, that helps things to not die. Not just humans, but all creatures will die less if we do something about not polluting the environment, or at least polluting it less. Let's decrease suffering wherever possible. That means finding ways to get along with each other rather than kill each other over land or political disputes or religious disputes. We need better morals than Christianity can produce. And I would ask, what morals do you think that Christianity has produced exactly? Can you provide a list and show that list is true via the Bible? I don't think that you could or will do that. Rather, I would submit that morals not being perfect as they are indicates that your God can't possibly be real. If you intertwine human morality and God's existence, then God cannot be a perfect being because it's an imperfect system that we have as humans. If only people would follow our religion, then everybody would get along. Well, every religion has claimed that. But that's an exclusive system that's going to pit people against each other unless God is so evident that it would be as evident as everything else that we have. God would have to have empirical evidence, repeatable tests, and a valid and sound argument for it. But it doesn't. And you have not presented any of those things for any of your points either. And unless and until you do, we must be skeptical of your conclusions. Here's another Pascal's wager.